Hi everyone, Justin Banon, co-founder at Boson Protocol here, and I'm really excited to be sharing with you our Masterplan Part V, undoubtedly our most ambitious master plan to date. So, as many of you know, Boson's sort of first stage plan has always been to become Web3's decentralized commerce layer. So we believe in a thesis that Web3 will replace the current web, which is broken by design. And by that, we mean it's designed to extract maximum value from participants. And we aim to replace that with public, credibly neutral infrastructure, which, as we say in Web3, can't be evil. By that, we mean everyone gets to share in the value they create. And so within Web3, we see that each function will be occupied by a de facto general purpose protocol. So think Uniswap for decentralized ERC20 exchange, Chainlink for data oracles, Filecoin for file storage. Well, Boson's role in this is to disrupt and displace centralized monopolies like Amazon with a decentralized commerce ecosystem built on Boson. But our purpose is more fundamental than that. So Boson can be thought of as a trust bridge between the on-chain and off-chain domains, enabling smart contracts to reliably and verifiably execute off-chain transactions. And so we describe this as Boson being this sort of foundational primitive for bringing physical assets on-chain within what we're calling the off-chain web. And so in this regard, Boson plays a very fundamental role in the future of humanity, because Boson enables an entirely new economic order in the form of what Professor Potts and I call a computable economy. And we're going to talk a bit more about that in the final section. So first of all, let's review our progress against the Boson 2024 roadmap. So in the last Masterplan Part 4, I set out a roadmap for completing the build of Boson to support this initial objective of becoming Web3's decentralized commerce layer. And the plan was to complete both the core protocol and a sort of an extensive dApp suite to deliver the features that sellers had requested. The good news is we've successfully delivered all of that, bar one item, the final item, and I will talk a bit more about that in a second. So, we've successfully implemented a major upgrade to the protocol called the Schrödinger upgrade, which enabled the solutions to enable things like enforcing royalties on secondary sales of physical assets by enabling functionality called sequential commit, where you can take an asset and repeatedly tokenize it on Boson. And then also new price discovery options such as auctions. We also extended Boson to advanced commerce features like turning the dApp into widgets that could be plugged directly into sellers' websites. A set of features that is going to be essential for some of the partnerships that we're working on for Q1 next year. As well as extending our integration to a full enterprise app for e-commerce giant WooCommerce, and laying the groundwork for Fermion Protocol to be built on Boson with the Fermion integration. We'll talk a bit more about Fermion in the following section, but to say that this extends the Boson ecosystem to support any physical asset, so from commerce to high-value commerce, real estate, and commodities. So as I mentioned, the one element that we haven't implemented is the physical real-world asset global marketplace. So in this area, we've reviewed and actually substantially upgraded our ambitions. And this is all now wrapped up into Boson's AI commerce or decentralized AI commerce initiative, which we're going to talk about in the following sections. So let's look at the roadmap for 2025. And as I mentioned, it's a hugely ambitious roadmap. So we start out with a focus in Q1 on immediate adoption, partnering with Web3 sort of first movers. And what we've seen is this resurgence in demand for Web3 and tokenizing physical assets. The challenge we faced during the bear market was that the interest in Web3 and tokenized physical assets waned. Why? Because crypto became synonymous with scams. There was huge hostility, regulatory hostility in the US. And frankly, most crypto wallets were empty. So as a consequence, there were very few NFT sales, whether for digital or physical. Well, all of this is now shifted and it's changing at a very fast pace. So after the bear market, there's been this resurgence in demand for lots of sectors, including luxury. And part of this is that, with this new administration in the US, crypto is cool again. It's now becoming, this driver of innovation. And so we're also seeing that once again, wallets are becoming full of crypto and creating a crypto-rich demographic that brands want to tap into, particularly in the luxury industry, where last year was the first flat year for luxury, for many, many years. So a lot of these luxury brands are looking to tap into this Web3 savvy, crypto-rich demographic, and being able to tokenize their physical assets and sell them on chain is a perfect way to doing this. So, we've got lots of different initiatives for doing this, but we've also put together a group of amazing luxury advisors, and if you've been watching our Twitter stream, we've published probably about half of them so far, that are connecting us with all of these brands. We're in lots of conversations, and we're actually in development, building out some partnerships with these brands at the moment. So as and when we can, we will be sharing more about that. But overall, our strategic approach is to target, identify first movers, and then scale to fast followers. And this has been amplified by our significantly upgraded marketing capabilities. If you want to understand a bit more about that, suggest you check out the link with our new marketing director, Bruno. Okay, so let's talk through some of the initiatives in sort of Q1. One is a tokenized Fidgetals major luxury partnership that we're kind of code naming Project Alpha. So Project Alpha is a major collaboration with one of the most renowned luxury brands. And we're going to be tokenizing a high-end jewelry line using Boson to tokenizing the items. It will also involve Fermion. So Fermion will be token gated with Fermion fractions. So while we can't talk too much about this and we can't, name the brands and stuff, what I can confirm is this is involved into a multi-stage initiative launching in Q1 2025 and then expanding and growing throughout the year. So this is huge. As always, I will be dropping any updates in Telegram first. So if you want to hear Alpha, Telegram and my Twitter channel are pretty good places to hear that first. We'll also then be deploying Boson Multichain. So we'll be doing this across multiple EVM compatible chains starting in January 2025. These chains are going to include Base, Optimism, and Arbitrum. Not necessarily in that order, but we'll be doing that, and we will also be live on DEXs on those exchanges as well pretty soon thereafter. So let's move to Q2. So we will be upgrading the Boson dApp and widgets. So it's a full version upgrade of the Boson dApp to extend functionality. Multichain will be one of them, but also some enhanced usability and some specific requirements that have been requested by some of these partners that we're working on to build integrations with. We'll also be launching the Boson Digital Product Passports proposition. So in the EU, brands are required by law to create digital product passports with all details and images of their products, And this is also becoming a global trend. So this proposition, this initiative will enable brands to very easily convert their digital product passports into tokenized sort of physicals and digitals. So they've already done all that heavy lifting. It's a really easy pathway into Web3. And then also, we will be building out a crypto gaming initiative. So we'll be refactoring some of our e-commerce kiosks that were previously plugged into the likes of Decentraland and integrating these with crypto games, which is a booming ecosystem. I think it's going to be one of the core narratives of this bull run. And then again, Web3 Fashion, there is a major resurgence happening in Web3 Fashion. So we're launching a major campaign to promote Boson and working with a number of the Web3 Fashion designers within that space. Okay, so let's sort of look now at the sort of second half. So here's the full year roadmap of 2025. The second half of the year is less detailed because of the way we sort of prioritize. We have a backlog. We have fill that with a detailed roadmap for the next 3 months, a bit less detailed for the next 6 months, and then we have sort of longer range plans for the 6 to 12 months horizon. But there are two major initiatives that we will be doing with Boson. So one is the off-chain web decentralized exchange. So this is what was the real world asset marketplace. And also agentic decentralized commerce, or this sort of decentralized AI commerce, both of which we're going to discuss in following sections. But this is going to be the main thrust of the kind of future development of Boson, becoming this kind of foundational layer for decentralized AI commerce. Okay. So let's talk about that was sort of immediate adoption. Let's talk about near-term adoption. So one major development that we will be launching on top of Boson is extending Boson to all physical assets with Fermion. So Fermion Protocol is a protocol built on Boson. And as part of the academic research I've been doing into real-world assets, which I conducted with Professor Potts, we identified that in addition to Boson's exchange mechanism, which is sort of optimized for decentralized commerce, there was another mechanism design that was optimized for high-value items, which use trusted verifiers and custodians. So, I mean, if you look at the different options in terms of different classes of exchange mechanisms that you could have. There's one where you lock up funds, and that's what Boson uses. So with this approach, you will lock up funds in escrow and release them only after a successful exchange. And so, I mean, this is cost efficient because it's just a protocol locking up funds, but it's capital inefficient. Those funds are locked up until after a successful exchange. I mean, that makes it perfect for general commerce, as we see in systems like Boson Protocol. But locking up capital when it's a lot of capital for long periods of time is less optimal. And so there's a second exchange method where instead of locking up the funds, you lock up the assets. And this mechanism, will take like the physical goods and deposit them with a custodian after verification. So this is ideal for high value commerce items that need verification. So, a Rolex that could be fake and you want to get it checked out by a Rolex supplier, real estate or commodities. And so with Fermion, what we've done is we've built this second mechanism on top of Boson as Fermion Protocol. So let's just sort of look into the kind of architecture of that. So if you see here, you've got sort of Boson, the commerce real world asset exchange, and then you've got Fermion for high value asset exchanges. So, covering this sort of full spectrum of physical real world assets, as we call them, all the way from physical commerce, with Boson with digitals now, digital commerce, but through with, $1 trillion, high value commerce, $10 trillion worth of real estate and $100 trillion worth of commodities. This whole swathe of physical assets we now call the off-chain web. And what we're building between Boson and Fermion is the technology infrastructure to bring all of these assets on-chain into what we're calling the Internet of off-chain assets. Now, the core thing to understand is underpinning all of this, both the commerce exchange and the high-value asset exchange, is Fermion. So, whilst Fermion is a separate protocol with a separate token, it's built on this core tokenization layer. So all transactions on Fermion will drive fees to Boson and will drive value to the Boson token. And as part of this sort of expanding Boson ecosystem, Fermion will extend the demand and utility of the Boson token. So you can think of Boson as the sort of the base layer, the core orchestration layer for this entire off-chain web, which is huge. Okay, so, let's talk a bit more about this sort of off-chain web. This is what we were previously calling the physical real-world asset supersystem, which was a bit of a mouthful to be honest. And I think this more concisely explains this concept of bringing all the world's off-chain assets on-chain into what we call, using Boson technology, and in addition Fermion, into what we're calling this sort of off-chain web. And so, together Boson and Fermion will enable the tokenization and exchange of any physical asset, from commerce, high value, real estate, commodities. It's a major ecosystem initiative. It's built on Boson, and we're going to be sharing much more about this in the future. I'm going to just step through a high level what the roadmap is for Fermion. So as you can see, we've got a mainnet launch, which will be happening in Q1. We will also be using Fermion to support the Glass-Suit fractionalization AI commerce airdrop. And then Fermion has got a whole series of initiatives that are going to be deployed, again, all driving usage, utility, and demand to Boson. I'll be going into more detail on that in my Fermion Roadmap post. Okay, so in advance of Fermion's mainnet launch in January and sort of token sale to follow sort of towards the end of Q1, we're encouraging all of our Boson Bosonauts to support this first protocol built on top of Boson's tokenization layer. So you can follow Fermion at Fermion Protocol, or at the website, and also the Telegram is the same name as the Twitter. We'd love to see you on these channels, getting involved, supporting the expansion of the Boson ecosystem to cover all physical assets. So let's now step into a super exciting initiative that we're doing with Boson. So over the last year or so, I've been working and developing the thesis, together with Jamie Burke of Outlier Ventures, and just discussing this whole notion of what Jamie calls the post web. So essentially, the post web is, basically sets out that AI will replace web interfaces with natural language interfaces, because it's much easier for users to say, I don't know, hey Siri, book me a flight to New York, right? It's much easier than tapping on a keyboard.
I found this on the web for book me a
I wonder
flight
if that
to
would
New York.
happen.
Check it out.
Yeah, it actually did it. So, it's much easier to use natural language than it is keyboards and stuff. And so, but we also expect autonomous economic agents to replace platforms and apps. And that's because you can trust agents to work in our interests, not in the interests of platforms. So if I go and program an AI agent, it will actually find me the cheapest and best flight. It's not going to, try and sell its most expensive tickets because it's not got, it's not maximizing a profit for its shareholders. But the challenge is that agents can't trust humans, and they can't trust corporates because of counterparty risk. So AI agents need trustless, verified execution of off-chain assets like commerce. And so this is why Boson Protocol is building the base layer for connecting AI with decentralized commerce. And so we're calling this sort of decentralized AI commerce. And as I mentioned, the first thing we're going to be doing is tokenizing this glass soup into fractions and then creating one of these sort of AI agents that's going to incentivize the community to do different actions and be able to airdrop fractions as rewards. It's going to be cool. It's going to be funny. But underneath that, we will be building out we're going to be building out an entire platform that will enable Boson to become the base layer for AI commerce. So we will be building connectors and agents within the various different frameworks that are out there, so that when developers are looking to build agents, they can just very easily say, okay, I want this agent to be able to buy and sell stuff. I want this agent, to be able to go perform these different actions. There will be a Boson component to enable them to do this. We think it's huge. It's a massive zeitgeist in crypto and AI, huge amounts of investment. And I believe that this is going to be the thing that will drive crypto because, if you've got AI interfacing with the complexity of crypto, it makes the biggest problem in crypto go away, which is complex user interfaces. So finally, then, let's go on to our long-term vision. So our long-term vision is to drive civilization scale adoption of Boson and unlock a computable economy. So last month I was at DevCon in Bangkok speaking with Professor Potts on our vision for a computable economy. And so basically a computable economy being when we replace fuzzy contracts and handshakes and contracts and intermediaries and all those fuzzy, unreliable things of the normal economy, the current economy, we replace all of that with blockchains and smart contracts and trust minimized guarantees that Boson and Fermion can provide, we end up going from the current economy to an economy that is more computable, that is kind of deterministic and reliable like a computer. And that is a fundamental change of economic order, unlocks exponential wealth, and enables a kind of step change in progress. But the core requirement for all of this is that all of the world's assets, all the assets in the economy are brought on chain with those same strong commitments and sort of properties that you get for natively on-chain assets. And that's a hard problem, but it happens to be the problem that we're solving with Boson and then extending, Boson to all assets with Fermion. So, what we are building towards is Boson being this foundational primitive to enable a computable economy, being this bridge between on-chain and all of these physical and off-chain assets. So, I think we're several years away from this, but as I hope I've outlined today, we start with immediate adoption with the markets that like luxury that are coming back into crypto. We're going to then be developing across a number of partnerships and initiatives, building out a whole stack for AI, which is sort of being adopted at a faster rate than any other technology. And we aim to be this foundational primitive for enabling a computable economy. Well, thank you everyone for listening. It's been a heavyweight one today, but I hope it shares some of the things that we are working on Boson. And thanks for your time.